Hey, what's up everybody? Prospective here with Watcher Realms. The question today is, should you summon or should you not summon? We have a couple great heroes coming up on these two banners. And spoiler alert, the question is yes and no. But if you're interested in finding out my opinion on this, stick around. Without further ado, let's dig it. Alright everybody, we have a very nice Elowyn and Anai banner that is up for grabs right now. I think it was kind of a surprise that it was hitting us now. Sorry about all the red dots. But we also, for the epics, we have Damon, unfortunately. We have Harpoon, unfortunately. We have Imani. She's actually a decent hero. You could actually summon if you wanted to try to pick up this as an epic. She can help you a lot in Guild Boss for the Infernal Blast team, especially if you have a Pyros. For the legendaries, we have Anai. And Anai is very niche style hero. And for the other one, it's going to be Elowyn. Now, Elowyn is a triple S hero, without a doubt. Elowyn is triple S hero. There is no arguing whether or not you should pick up an Elowyn. Now, here's the issue that I have with this. It is a trap. We have a bad legendary, two really bad epics, and one okay-ish epic in Imani. Don't get me wrong, I'm not downing Imani. Not too much, really. She is actually, she'll do a decent amount of damage for an epic mage. For Guild Boss and the Infernal Blast team. But you kind of need Infernal Blast Lord to make that work really well. The odds of you pulling Elowyn are going to be nice and low. I'm not going to beat around the bush here. She is going to be hard to get if you're going to be pulling. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you should pull and you're going to get her. What I will say that for the Elowyn and Anai banner, these opportunities where you're going to have, 15x for somebody like Elowyn is going to be extremely rare. She can change your account massively. I want to say almost 8 months without Elowyn, and I was still struggling. I had all these other heroes. I had a couple of A5 legendaries, and Gear Dungeon, for example, was a struggle for me just because I didn't have her. I did unfortunately get her in time before Guild Boss 2 came out, and now I have to, she's almost like a must. So, just to put this in perspective, my Elowyn is A0. Now, on the Awakened one, after using Grace of Nature, reduces damage taken by 20% for 10 seconds. Great. Awakened 2 is attack plus 300. But the big one is going to be Awakened 3, where each basic attack landed has a 20% chance to dispel debuffs from allies. Every time she sends off a heal on her basic, she's going to have an extra chance to dispel the debuffs from allies. Which, towards the... even if you're an endgame kind of player, towards the end of Guild Boss 2 APOC 2, the truth is that it's almost or near impossible to continue past that 100k point without having Elowyn A3. Now, it can be done, but it's a massive struggle to make it work. So the problem is her ultimate doesn't come back fast enough for you to do enough damage to take down that Titan. What is it? Titan's Drake, I think. Which puts those poisons out on your allies, and it's just massive poisons. And Elowyn just has this default on her A3 where she just has a chance to dispel them, and she will dispel them. But there's also a chance that she fails. But for the most part, it works really well to help you get past that Titan's Drake and cross that threshold and hit the 120k. So for that, my suggestion is, if you don't have an Elowyn, I'm going to suggest that you summon. It's worth a shot. If you have an A0 to A2 Elowyn, I'm also going to suggest that you summon. It's just a chance. If you look at me, I'm sitting around 40 crystals to try to summon and a few divines. I will be summoning today to try to get these. I don't know how many diamonds I might use. I'll probably go until I get a legendary and I'll probably quit, you know, at that point. Or possibly just get the summoning event done for the Eliza banner. Or Eliza shard summon, I'm saying. I mean. So, that being said, Anai is a fantastic hero for the Arbiter of Frost boss. She, in the early game, she can help you a lot in the guild boss one. It's not crazy, but if you're struggling for those types of heroes, it's something. She has a lot of dot damage, which is just damage over time. If I could pull her kit up here. Basic attack has a 20% chance of inflicting burning on the target. The hero deals 15% more damage to targets inflicted with burning. That burning and sustained damage that she's constantly doing is pretty much top tier on Arbiter of Frost. And that's kind of the end game stuff. You know, if you get your Anai, you maybe even A5 or then you skill her out, and then you're going to be crossing those thresholds where you're in the top 2 levels of who's beating Arbiter of Frost and pushing those leaderboards. Most of the leaderboards are pushed by people that are running comps with Anai, so that's something to be said as well. She's kind of trash everywhere else, but in the end game, she's actually worth going for. So for that sense, it's not really the worst banner. But Elowyn's kit really quickly, she has an AoE heal. She does offer this like wood elf that can come and you can kind of place her wherever, and she heals around that tile within range and offers extra healing. It could be anywhere on the map, so she kind of has like this, I want to say Ezrin kind of heal, if you want to put it that way. But on her basic attack, she grants attack-based healing to 3 allies in range. That's considered AoE. On her ultimate here, it costs of, I want to say, minus 100, minus 100, to be 1,000 cost. Dispels all debuffs for all allies in range and heals them for 40% base healing every second, lasting for 10 seconds. There's only so many heroes that do this dispel. We have Madan, we have, I want to say, I'll have to actually go and look at the gallery to see which ones they are. I don't remember offhand here. Get down to the healers. Defenders, marksmen. Okay, here's the healers. We have Elowyn that does the job. We have Desomi. Desomi kind of does it passively like Elowyn's A3, except it's not as good because they have to have like a certain HP threshold in order for him to remove the debuff. We have Eunomia here, which she is pretty much crap. Dispels all debuffs from about 3 allies in range every 40 seconds. Doesn't work good for the Guild Boss 2 thing. It can kind of work for Void Rift in that stage where they put off the dot damage on your heroes. We have Madan, and then soon we have Nisande coming to do it. Now Madan, the issue with her is that, let me find her kit here. I just don't think she just doesn't do as good a job as Elowyn can do. Even at a base A0. Elowyn's gonna be bringing a lot more healing, she's a little easier to keep alive. She just seems to not be able to get back to her ultimate fast enough. And that might have something to do with her attack rate or rage regen or something, but she does not do as good a job at it. So to sum things up, if you do not have an A3 Elowyn, I do suggest that you go ahead and go for her. If you're in the end game and you might want to push like the end game content like Arbiter of Frost, then Anai will not be a bad pull for you. Even for me, I wouldn't mind having extra Anai just to try to push that content. It's kind of like it's not my goal, but it's a nice passive thing that would happen. So yeah, I think you should summon for Elowyn and even Anai if you get that chance, or if you have the resources to be able to do it. There's not going to be many heroes that are going to come up that are going to be more important to your account than Elowyn. And then it kind of becomes a little more niche when you want to go to like the A3 Elowyn. Now, going over the special agent summoning coming up, which is going to be Saturday, we're looking at King Hars. I wanted to say a little something about King Hars. He's actually, for like a defensive unit, he's decent. He has like these nice shields. People talk really bad about him. I think it kind of comes from Fastidious, and he pulled like 4 of them, and it's kind of like really bad luck to have pulled so many King Hars, especially for an ancient. I wouldn't target King Hars, but if you pulled a King Hars, I wouldn't be upset about it either. So on his ultimate, he deals AoE damage equal to 120% of attack to surrounding enemies. His inflicts freeze as well. It gains a shield that it can absorb up to damage equal to 50% of max HP that lasts for 8 seconds. He gets a pretty massive shield. He doesn't have like a unyielding or anything like that, and it is all based on his ultimate here. Say his skill cost goes down by 100, so it comes down to 900. Let's see, absorb 20%, 40%, 60%. I mean, it's a massive shield that he puts on himself. Put him with a little rage regen. He does an excellent job at defending. Not quite as good as Oleg, but not terrible either. And he's also a decent like North Throne faction lord. Periodically grants all faction team members a shield equal to 30% of their max HP, and other allies a shield equal to 15% of their max HP for 20 seconds. The more faction allies are on the team, the more freedoms take effect. Defense of shielded faction team members is increased by 20%. Now, a lot of heroes, people kind of tend to forget this. When you push this endgame content now, a lot of the like epics and stuff like that, they really struggle with defense. Now, 20% bonus to defense for them isn't going to be a ton, but it's going to help. It's going to make a difference when they get hit. It's going to help them reduce that damage a little bit. Now, like I said, I would not target Hars. The problem is that I would target Ardea. Okay, Ardea is, you know, she's arguably like one of the best fighters in the game. Especially if you want to put her in like a category of like a ranged fighting unit. She is the best ranged fighting unit in the game. She has this massive damage from her Primal Wrath. You put her in a Infernal Roar set. If she's going to be on the fight for a long time, you can put her in a Soulbound Arcana set. The cooldown on this is pretty low, so only cost of like 700, but she enters the Frenzy state. Attack is increased by 30%, and 15% of current HP is deducted per second. The hero throws 2 of her Sacred Blades every time her talent effect is triggered. Now your CS's attack is increased by 30%, and 15% of current HP is deducted per second. So she's increasing her attack as a passive, and the amazing thing about her is that she has almost 8,000 base attack. 8,000 base attack. She's up there, and like I want to say she's like top 5 highest base attack heroes in the game. She is nutty. She has like a nice range. 4 units are 4 tiles ahead of her. She can do bleed. She can do increased damage as her health depletes, basically. So it's nice to have like a healer like Elowyn on her. So it makes sense that Elowyn banner will be running right now. Works really well in the arena. Kind of put her down and put Elowyn next to her. Elowyn helps keep her rage regen going. She just ults more often. Ardea is definitely worth going for. Now, if you are really far from Lord Pity, I would suggest going for Ardea and just hoping that you get a legendary. If you are close to Lord Pity, I would avoid it. Like I said, King Hars isn't a bad unit. It's just that Ancients are really hard to come by, and I would prefer suggesting to you that you would want to save those for like a 15x banner for a better lord, a more important lord. There's plenty of them. You know, let's go to the gallery for a minute. I could list just a few really quickly. We go in the gallery. Watchguard lords. You know, we have Leia. I could do an Ingrid banner again. That'd be nice. Elder is going to be probably a better lord for a combination with Ardea. Let's see, Torador can like really push your Guild Boss 1 teams. We have Morgan. Actually, I'm kind of struggling with the Cursed Cult faction for legendary lords. I don't have one for that yet, but they do really help increase the damage that those guys are doing immensely. We have Infernal Blast Lord, Soul Cadence, Twin Fiend. These two I would really like to have as well, considering my Infernal Blast team is pretty much all filled out. Even have like an A2 Zilla 2. It'd be nice to try that on the Guild Boss 1, but I'm sitting here stuck without the good lord. I just have Pyros. And Twin Fiend you would need too. So the Star Piercers, we have Araka, we have Iovar, Esoteria, we have I mean, even if you went for a Venoma, I know people don't really want to pull a Venoma, but if you have Boreas, Comet, Anora in it, all these heroes are going to benefit from having Venoma as a lord. Cyrus is an amazing lord. Then we get into like the really crazy ones like Gon and Valderon, Kratos. I mean, the list kind of goes on and on. There's so many better lords, and that's kind of the problem, is you don't want to use your lord pity pulling for a King Hars. If it happens on accident, it happens on accident. So, quick summary. If you don't have A3 Elowyn, pull. I suggest pulling. You should try to shoot for an A3 Elowyn. It's an endgame hero. It's going to help you pretty much further than most heroes in this game as far as endgame stuff, especially for like Guild Boss 2 and the gear dungeons. Anai, it wouldn't be a bad thing if you got one. I know people really look down on her, but she's actually pretty niche and very nice for the Arbiter of Frost boss. On the special range of summoning for Ardea, we're not going to shoot for King Hars. If you do pull, you're pulling for Ardea, and just get one. You only need to get one. Her awakenings aren't that great. You know, if you get them, that is what it is. But just pull one. I would not pull if you're close to Lord Pity. Pull if you are far away from it. So if you just pulled a Lord not that long ago, go ahead and try for an Ardea. It's not going to hurt. In fact, pulling Ardea would be a game changer for most players in this game. But anyways, guys, that's it for the video. That's all I have for you. I hope you found this information helpful. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to join the Discord. It's down in the description below. We have hero guides in there, stage guides, void rift guides, takeovers. You know, you're welcome to share your heroes, what your progress in the game, ask questions, anything like that. All pretty nice about that in the chat. But anyways, thanks for tuning in. Until next time, get digging.